Suvat Part 2, super pumped for you to get your third extra mark on your Year 11 Physics prelim. Pause for a second to refresh yourself with the question and to play the chicken game. So for this part of the question, you've got to find the time elapsed when car 2 catches up to car 1. In terms of your Suvats, you've got to recognize that means that the S values are the same. So the distances or the displacements must be equal. So we need to come up with expressions for the displacement of car 1 and the displacement of car 2, basically make them equal to each other and then solve for time. So let's find the expression for the displacement of car 1. Okay, this one's pretty straightforward because it's just a simple S is ut plus half at squared because it's undergoing acceleration for the entire duration of time. The displacement for object 2 is a little bit trickier because for the first 3.5 seconds, they're not undergoing uniform acceleration, they're just moving at a constant velocity. So we've got to take that into account when we come up with the expression for the displacement of car 2. So you can see we've essentially broken it up into two parts. The first part, which is moving at constant speed for the first 3.5 seconds, and then the section where it's moving with constant acceleration for the remaining duration of time. Important thing to note that the time for this bit and the time for that bit are actually going to be different. So let's denote them T1 and T2. Also important to note that T1 plus T2 is going to equal T for S1. And we know that T1 is already 3.5 seconds. So let's go about plugging in some numbers. So here's our expression for the displacement of object 2, constant velocity. Our acceleration using the time for the acceleration is the total time minus T1. Basically what we'll end up with then for the displacement of object 2 is a quadratic. So let's simplify this. So this is now our equation which describes the displacement of object 2 as a function of t. And what did we say before? In order for car 2 to catch car 1, S1 and S2 must be the same. So let's equate them to each other now. All we're going to do now is going to group the t squares and the t's and stuff. We're going to come up with a quadratic expression. Do keep in mind the quadratic formula is not in your formula sheet or your data sheet, so you kind of need to know it if you're going to use it. So yeah, just remember it. Okay, we recognize what A, B, and C are. They're the coefficients of our t squared, t, and just our constant respectively. Let's plug in those values. All right, nearly there now, time to simplify. Notice here we're gonna get two positive solutions, but you gotta think which one makes sense. Here are our two solutions, 1.97 and 15.52, but only one of them makes sense. Which one is it?